You did a really good job on dicing the carrots, though.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It looks like I bought them in the store already diced.
I used the new knife technique that I was given.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Charlotte told me to move my hand back a little bit on the knife because I...
You should move your knife. You're getting real far back. Cut more of your hand than the carrots.
Merry Christmas, everyone. It is not quite Christmas here, and when this video premieres, it also is not quite Christmas yet. However, this 52nd Sunday dinner, I believe, is the Christmas dinner for this project. This is our most extensive menu yet. Here is what's on it. We have a red and green menu that starts with a fruit cup. Then there are olives, celery, salted peanuts. Then for our main dish, we have roast turkey with oyster dressing. On the side, we have mashed potatoes, carrots and peas in patty shells, cranberry jelly salad, Parker House rolls, mince pie, vegetable plum pudding, Christmas cakes, red and green mints, and coffee, of course. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. My name is Ashley. I'm a registered dietitian and I love everything vintage. I have taken those two things and combined them, and that's culminated in this. This is the 52 Sunday Dinners project. This project was inspired by this cookbook here. This is the 52 Sunday Dinners cookbook. This is from Women's World magazine in 1924. We're going through each week and doing as many recipes as we can from that menu. They made these menus for Sunday dinners with seasonality and economy in mind in 1924. A lot has changed, including seasonality and economy since 1924. However, as novice cooks, we're undertaking this project and we're just kind of checking out and seeing how these recipes translate 100 years later for people who are beginning to learn how to cook. I don't know how many recipes ago we noticed that we couldn't find currant jelly or currants. Here in the US, it seems like it's a lot harder to find those now. Maybe all of our friends across the pond don't have quite as difficult of a time, but I was able, before I couldn't find any red currant jelly. I got online, got on Amazon, of course, and I found this red currant jelly, and look at how pretty it's packaged. I love this. So we're gonna give this a try today, and some of the other recipes call for currants. I couldn't find any fresh, of course, but I did find dried on Amazon. So we'll be using these dried currants for some of the recipes as well. And thankfully, I just ended up ordering a case of 10 bags of these, and I think we're going through at least 2 of them today because this menu is huge. Thankfully, we have Tori here helping us today, so you guys will get to see her help and you'll get to get her opinion on how everything turned out. Without further ado, let's slap some aprons on, get into the kitchen, and see how this turns out. I recently came across canned grapefruit. I've never seen canned grapefruit before until this. I don't know if this is commonplace or not. If it is normal where you're at, let us know because I think this is pretty awesome. But I'm going to save us a step here. I don't know if they had canned citrus in the 1920s. Maybe they home canned it in the wintertime when grapefruits and oranges and things were plentiful. But either way, we're going to use it for this fruit salad, and we're skipping the step of cutting all of those sections out of the rind. Unflugel. Unflugel.
I didn't pay attention in home ec, Miss Kenny.
Oh, this stinks.
Woo!
Oh. The recipe doesn't call for the foil to go over top. However, we are listening to a lot of your advice that you've given us on some of these boiled puddings, and many of you said you're supposed to wrap it tightly over the top with, I think you said foil, so we're going to go ahead and do that for these, and I guess let's see what happens, and let me know if I misunderstood and this isn't what we're supposed to do, but I think we're improving here. these mince pies are supposed to maybe be individual pies. Maybe it's supposed to be several large pies. We really aren't sure because it doesn't even tell us to put it in any pie crust or bake it at all. It just tells us to mix this stuff. But I just want to point out, we cut this recipe in half. Look at how much molasses there is for half this recipe. This is insane. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that other than
this is involved.
It is very involved. We also are not sure what a large glass of currant jelly is, so we're hoping that this is half of a large glass. It's a medium-sized plastic of currant jelly, not quite a glass, but hopefully that is enough. And, oh, I've just spilled it into the sugar. Whoopsie poopsie.
Well, it's all gonna go together anyway. It's fine.
So after much poor time management, an excessive amount of ingredients, we are finally ready to try most of the meal. The mince pies, we grossly miscalculated how long we would need to make those. So those are currently on the stove, and I think we have so much food here to try already that it would be good to just save those for tomorrow anyway. That way, by the end of this, we're not like throwing up from fullness and not able to give a good representation of what the end tastes like. First things first, we are starting with the fruit salad. Do you want your own fruit salad? I figured we could just try a taste of it because there's so much else to taste that maybe we should just share it.
Ew.
Well, there's your bowl then. You know what I'm surprised about? Tori and I were talking about this before. It seems like an interesting combination for this particular demographic of recipes to use chili powder. And I've seen chili and cayenne in several of the fruit salads. And I just don't associate this type of cooking with that type of spice in fruit.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it, but not for like what we see with all the rest of the recipes.
Right. And they put nutmeg and cinnamon in the savory recipes. So you're at least our demographic of people, you associate those cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, you associate those with sweeter baking type recipes. You associate chili, cayenne, spicier things with more of a savory dish. So this is just a little bit surprising.
Nobody had any alcohol, so they had to be weird with everything else.
I like the smell combination of grapefruit and chili powder. That smell goes together well. Has anybody ever made a chili grapefruit candle? I imagine it like a soap with chili powder probably wouldn't feel very good, especially in a bath.
I need to make this now.
Yeah, a grapefruit chili candle?
I don't taste the chili powder at all.
Really?
Yeah. The grapefruit is really overpowering.
Okay.
Which I don't have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
But I taste absolutely no chili powder.
Oh, I definitely taste the chili on the grapefruit. Do you want me to add a little more chili to see if...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I definitely taste the chili with the grapefruit, and I love it. Like, I know that I like chili on mango already and pineapple, but I've never tried it on a grapefruit, and I think it's pretty grapefruit. I imagine that in 1924, the types of grapes that they were using were not this mild in flavor. They probably were much more strong, like in a Concord or a Niagara type flavor. I don't know what the flavors of the specified grapes that they requested were. These ones are very mild. You can't taste them at all. I think the color with these, and there's a little bit of a snap or crunch in here, that is a nice complement to this, but I don't taste anything with those. All I taste is the grapefruit, which I totally agree with you is great fruit. I like it. Okay, I didn't have a long metal skewers to do the cranberries on that thing. So there. Now we can have adorable little cranberries. And, okay, let's split one of these peas and carrot cups also. Oh, we need the cranberry sauce. We need the... Anybody remember that scene in Christmas Vacation where the Jell-O mold has cat food in it? Just curious. We're going with turkey first. This skin looks amazing. Okay. Let me sniff the turkey actually. The turkey skin smells really good. This smells excellent. You did a really good job visually and sniffingly. What's the word? Not olfactorily?
Scent-wise. Just say scent-wise.
No. Give your thoughts first. Actually, I'll give my thoughts first because you're still chewing. This cranberry relish jelly mold is good, but it is so overpowering that just that little bit that I had coated on the turkey, I couldn't taste the turkey at all. So I want to try it mostly without that dressing. And now the dressing or the cranberry has gelatin in it, and I did not buy kosher gelatin, so that's why Tori is not trying it.
Yeah, it's good. I normally hate skin because it's too like wet. But I forgot like 2 bastes because it calls to baste for every 20 minutes. And I forgot. So the skin is real crispy and I like it.
It's delicious.
It is really, really good. I've never made a turkey before.
This is your first time making a turkey?
This is my first time making a turkey. So earlier, I had to butter the turkey. And when she got back, I said, please never make me touch a raw turkey ever again. That's why I've never made a turkey before, because I won't touch one.
Your first attempt at making turkey is better than every... My mouth is full. This is so rude. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I host Thanksgiving dinner every year, and I've made turkey dinners a few times outside of Thanksgiving. So let's say I've made 20 turkey dinners in my lifetime. Maybe 25. Your first attempt at turkey has been far superior to all 25 of mine.
I'm just that good.
High five. Good job.
Thank you.
I highly recommend, if your recipe calls for basting every 20 minutes, to just skip a couple of those times, including the very last basting, so that your skin turns out like this. This is awesome. All right. Mashed potatoes. Did you add the egg yolks as recommended with no recommendation?
Sure didn't.
Okay, you didn't add any?
Mm-mm.
This tastes like every mashed potato we've had so far. How many times have we had mashed potatoes in this menu?
I've done, like 5 or 6 episodes with you now?
I think so.
I think a little over half of them have had
Okay.
at least potatoes of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly mashed.
Okay.
I'm not complaining.
Do
I'm Irish.
you know what kind of dinner we're having tonight? Turkey dinner. Earlier, we were like, oh, hey, Tori isn't going to eat this mold because there's gelatin in it. There's no gelatin in it.
We're just silly.
Yeah, I don't know what we were thinking, so try it with this.
It is good. You're right. It is very overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like strawberry jam.
I was just going to say, does it taste like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to you?
Yeah. I don't taste cranberry in it. I taste strawberry jam.
Okay, in my head, I was thinking, I feel like this tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I always have had strawberry jelly on my peanut butter and jelly. So, okay. I was thinking it and then I thought, well, maybe I'm just being weird or crazy. But I totally agree. So I think we're going to split one of these peas and carrots cups. There was no indication on what size they should be. Did it say they were supposed to be individual? It didn't really give much direction.
It said nothing about the shells. It said nothing about how long to cook, at what temperature to cook. It only gave us instructions for the filling.
Mm-hmm. And to use the leftover pastry dough from the mince pies, in which it didn't instruct us to make for the mince pies.
Yeah.
Okay. So we chose to use those kind of giant, larger cupcake muffin tins, the ones that we used for the Yorkshire puddings. And I think just given everything that we're trying and eating, it would be best to split this. Would you agree?
I agree.
And let's let them just take a little peek inside. Hopefully you can see that. I think it looks pretty. I've never... What?
So it looks a little dry.
It does look a little dry. Actually, I don't know. Maybe. Never in my life have I had a pie full of peas and carrots.
I had them, but with meat.
Yeah, it's like a shepherd's pie or a pot pie or something, but hey, what kind of pie is that? Peas and carrots. Okay.
It's like a shepherd's pie for vegetarian.
I really like that. I thought this was going to be really stupid. Like, we're putting peas and carrots in a pie. That's dumb. Why wouldn't you just serve it peas and carrots? I love this combination. I didn't even sniff it first. What a weirdo. You don't feel the same way.
I like it. The filling is just extremely bland.
Yeah, it doesn't smell strong of anything. And I agree there's not a lot of spice flavor. But I kind of like just with this dish in particular, the lack of seasoning in it. I can really taste individually the carrots, the peas, and the crust. And the cream sauce doesn't add a lot of flavor. It just adds moisture, I think, to this dish. I don't know. I kind of like having just the flavor of the peas and the carrots and the crust. Now, maybe if I had this well seasoned, I might feel differently and I'd be like, oh, this is delicious. These seasonings complement each other so well. But without it, I really like having the individual flavors coming out.
See, for me, it's not even the seasonings. Like, I can't even taste the carrots and peas. This tastes like literally nothing to me.
Do you think your taste buds are broken?
It's possible. I've had COVID twice.
Because there's a couple things that I'm like, oh wow, I can really taste this portion of this, and you're like, I do not taste it at all. I forgot to mention that the dressing, the oyster dressing, I looked and did not find oysters in our area. And this was a problem with the oyster stew before. The oysters that I could find were smoked and canned. And I don't think it had the same flavor. And from everything that you guys said, it's completely different. It kind of ruins the flavor of what was supposed to have fresh or unsmoked flavor. And so in, I guess, the option of either using smoked, canned, or none, that none was the preferred option. I assumed because a couple other places that I have been, they've had canned regular oysters in the chilled seafood section. Not in my area that I'm remembering, but in some other areas. And also in my area now, just as you guys have, I guess, advised me, right now, several places, Aldi, Walmart, maybe, well, that's really the only grocery stores around here. We have a couple other local ones. They're all getting lamb legs and breasts in. Several options for lambs right now in this season. So I thought, okay, if they're getting lambs in and I have been able to find fresh oysters elsewhere, or excuse me, not fresh, regular canned oysters elsewhere, that our area would get the regular oysters in now. They did not. So we just skipped over the stuffing, and maybe we'll go back and try it another time. The other thing that we skipped this time is the Parker House rolls. In last week's menu, I skipped over something else. I can't remember what it was, but you said, hey, you should retry some of these recipes and make them again so that you can showcase the improvements that you've been making based on our recommendations. And I totally agree with you. We didn't do the Parker House rolls this time because there was so much other stuff. However, we went through earlier today and went back into the comments of, I think it was the 34th Sunday dinner that we had Parker House rolls. We looked at your recommendations. Tori is going to follow those recommendations and try them again. And hopefully they turn out a little better than what mine did last time. And we'll try the Parker House rolls. We will try to unmold the second cranberry jelly mold. And we'll try the mince pies tomorrow. So,
I'm not really sure how it's going to show your improvement on the Parker House rolls if I'm the one making them.
Nobody asked you for that opinion, Tori. Maybe it will showcase
that I'm a better baker than you.
Well, yes, because they don't know that already. They can't tell. Clearly a better freaking turkey maker than me. Turkey maker? Baker? I don't know. Rump shaker? Ooh, before we do vegetable pudding, want to eat a celery? Okay, I really only wanted to eat the celery because I wanted to show off. Look at how cute my dishes are. Show them yours. I still have the price tag stickers on there. I only paid $2.50 for these. And you can't see them because they're over there. But I have the original boxes for them. And I think this is Hal's glass. All right, let's show them what this looks like inside. I want to smell it first. It smells very walnutty. See inside there. Before cutting into this, my expectation was that it was going to be as good as the suet pudding after we tried the suet pudding. Now I'm not so sure.
Do you think it's because with the suet pudding we melted it and then mixed it in, and this one just called for chopped?
Yes, and specified don't melt it. Or no, the other one.
The other one was specified don't melt, but this one still just called for,
I don't know.
chopped.
It smells like walnuts and like walnut carrot cake. Is there carrots in this? Yes. Potatoes and carrots.
It's not bad. It is actually pretty good. I just, coming off of the joy of suet pudding, just very underwhelmed.
Yeah, especially, I probably should have used a different mold because this is the same mold I used for the suet pudding and we steamed it. And I think our expectation, we're not comparing this to itself. We're comparing it to the single greatest food invention ever made in history, in the history of man. So pretend you never had suet pudding, and now let's try it again.
I don't want to live a life where I haven't tried suet pudding.
Okay. Did you just get a berry? Our currant? The variations in textures of this is strange for me. It's like go ahead.
That face was I got potato.
Oh.
And it was very unpleasant.
The cake part is a little dry. The currants are raisins. Raisins or currants?
There's just raisins in this one.
Okay. The raisins have rehydrated and kind of explode wet in your mouth. The walnuts are just crunchy walnuts. And then I don't know if I'm getting chunks of suet, if I'm getting potato, but there is something very, not the bursting raisin moist wetness, just a pocket of wet.
I got a chunk of the potato.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bite later, I got a chunk of the suet. And just, the first bite was really good. Not suet pudding good, but good. The deeper I get into this, the more upset I am.
Oh yeah, the wet pockets are the suet. Like just chunks of suet. Maybe the suet needed to be more fine, like shredded. Or maybe it needed to be melted before. Yeah, this is just strange. We also have noticed this is the vegetable plum pudding. Next week we have cheap plum pudding. Those of you, I assume it's across the pond, our friends, maybe in other countries, that plum pudding is normal. Where are the plums in the plum pudding? Or is it like...
Do you think it's supposed to be plum raisins? I.e. prunes?
I don't think so, because they've specified prunes when they wanted prunes. Does plum mean something else other than the fruit? Is it the type of pudding? Like, is it a technique or something? Why is this called plum pudding and next week's is called plum pudding with no plums? Very curious. I've determined, Tori won't try it, but I've determined if you just take this, and this is the second one because we made 3 of these. We cut this recipe. Did we cut this recipe in half?
No, we discussed this. We can't remember if we did it or not. Give me one of the measurements out of the book and I'll tell you.
A half pint carrot. No, we did not cut this in half.
Are you sure?
Yes, because
how much suet does it call for?
I don't know.
Half a pint of suet?
Yes.
Okay, so that might be where we effed up.
Okay.
Because I did a half pound of suet.
How much was a half a pound?
8 ounces?
So you measured half a pound instead of half a pint.
Sure did.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, add this to the redemption recipes. We're going to figure out how much half a pound of suet compared to half a pint was. But I've also, in my opinion, determined if you just take it like this and kind of bite into it like a sandwich, like it tastes pretty good that way. If you don't just cut a little slice off and eat it individually, just bite right into it, much better. Our behind the scenes help tried it in that way. I had them just bite straight into it, and they felt that it tasted a little bit like pumpkin bread, or reminded them of pumpkin bread. Kind of moist, a little like a hint of spice in there. The texture was right for pumpkin bread. The spice level was right for pumpkin bread. That's what it reminded them of. And I have to say, after hearing that suggestion, I would agree with that. Look at how cute. So the icing, for some reason, it just kept crystallizing. I don't know what was happening. The first time I assumed it was because it was stirred too much. The second time we did not stir it at all, and it still crystallized.
Yeah. It called for it to cool to lukewarm. Like, it was still hot and just completely crystallizing.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but Tori made a royal icing, and we did just regular white almond flavored royal icing, and then we combined the regular royal icing with some of the cranberry pulp to color it pink and give it just a little bit of a tart cranberry flavor in there. So we are trying a star right now. Wait, I want to sniff it. Sorry. Mostly smells like almond, very faintly of almond. I can't say it's overpowering almond, but I want more icing on mine. What do you think?
Yeah. Oops. Very almond scent.
Mm-hmm. Very almond scent?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the almond came out more powerfully there, which is, I love almond.
Same.
Very almond?
Very almond.
How does that taste? Very almond.
And I actually so this is like my own recipe for royal icing. I double checked the internet for ratios. But I put a lot less almond in than I would normally put of vanilla. And it's still very powerful.
I like it like that.
I do mm-hmm. like it a lot, but mm-hmm. if these people don't.
Yes. The texture of the cake is okay. Is it a little bit dry to you?
Yes.
Do you think because we waited until today to put the icing on because it didn't turn out yesterday, we were just going to eat them plain, but we decided at the last minute to do the royal icing. Do you think if we would have put the royal icing on it, if we would have put the royal icing on it yesterday, it would have sealed in some of the moisture?
No.
Okay.
Because it's not, if it was completely iced, maybe. But since it's just like a drizzle on top.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
And with the fondant, I don't think that would have made a difference either.
Okay.
Not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not immediately reaching for my hot cocoa, but I wouldn't really choose it again.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's not bad. Not bad at all. It's just, I think we've had several other recipes. This isn't the one I'd go back to, but it's not bad. I like the almond flavor. The cake texture is okay. Let me taste it without the icing because I want to taste the currant in there. You know what also might make a difference in this? We use dry currants because that's all we have available to us here in this part of the U.S. Do you think this actually meant fresh currants? And that if it would have been fresh, this would have been way more moist?
I don't know that fresh currants would have been available in the 1920s, especially in the wintertime in this area. Or the U.S. I don't think the US really grows currants, do they?
I thought, didn't you guys tell us they were banned in the US at some point? Something happened. They were banned in the US. You guys will, I'm sure several of you know what you're talking about. You'll let us know in the comments. So maybe they would have been available at that time. You know what? I'd like to retry this maybe at some point. Rehydrate the currants. Maybe soak them overnight or simmer them for a few minutes. And then retry this and see if it's better. I mean, I'm saying I'd like to. I'm probably not going to do that. But I would like to in my brain right now. We have our wiggly mince. I have never seen, and we were talking about this earlier, any mince I've ever tried, especially Christmas mints that are dyed colors like this, it's a hardtack candy or just hard mints. I've never had them floppy jelly like this. Just, woo! If you are doing this at home, oh my gosh, why didn't we think of this? I bet if we would have soaked set the bottom of the container in warm water, it would have lifted.
It was way more amusing to watch you try and scrape it out.
Yeah, definitely. It said a shallow pan. So I thought, okay, a jelly roll pan, we'll do that. Well, that was way, way too thin. They needed to be thicker. Help us out here. What? I don't think we should have greased it.
No, I don't think greasing would have.
Because it was hot. It would have, all that, if we would have greased it, all it would have done is had hot sugar jello poured into a greased surface, and it would have just been oily then. Like the oil wouldn't have stuck.
Yeah, no.
You said a silpat maybe? I don't know. Help us, guys. What should we have done to be able to get these out? Or should we just leave it and let it be like this and let it be an entertaining memory every year and see who is the best at getting these out? But let's try these floppy little guys. Smells minty. Want to sniff it?
Oh, yeah. That's yesterday when you put the mint in here. It burned my eyes.
Mm-hmm. It feels like I'm eating toothpaste because it's soft, but like a tiny bit crusty. Like somebody squeezed.
Crusty?
Now listen, I'm about to explain it. Somebody left the cap off the toothpaste and smeared a little bit, and it got off to the side and was dry. And then you put it on there and you're mad because somebody had dry toothpaste on there. But like, either way, it just, the mint combined with the softness, I just feel like I'm chewing toothpaste. I'm gonna keep doing it. It's kind of weird. It's strong. It's strong.
I can smell it on your breath.
It's a good, I guess it's good. This is what you smell on my breath, other than, I don't know, just like rank breath. But, ooh, let's try one of these lumpy, ugly ones. Let's see if the texture is different. Nope. There's like that hard, dried powdered sugar, the outside crunch, and then the gel. I really want to try this with a different flavor. We were talking earlier, these kind of remind us of Swedish fish. If we would have used a cherry extract instead. I think, are Swedish fish cherry flavored?
They're Swedish fish flavored.
Swedish fish flavored. Yeah, I'd like to try it that way. We were discussing natural food coloring. And of course, we could just look this up on the internet. I'm sure we can do that, but we haven't done it yet. And we were having the conversation, so we have the conversation. what natural food dyes would you use for red? And we talked about the cranberry. It turned things pink. You said, go ahead.
But it also would add the cranberry flavor. So if you're making like mints, you're going to have cranberry mint, which might be a wonderful combination, but it is going to affect the flavor.
You said you used beetroot powder for your bath products?
Yes.
All of you crunchy people, what do you use for red food dye? Overall, what were your opinions? Just general overall menu.
Underwhelming.
Okay.
Especially for like a Christmas meal. I'm used to a lot for Christmas meals. So it's a lot of things, but it's just a little underwhelming. I'm extremely proud that my first turkey turned out so good.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, just flavor-wise, I was just not impressed.
Okay.
By a lot of stuff. I didn't hate it. I just would pass.
Okay. It's not up your alley.
Correct. And I'm not judging the vegetable pudding. I'm leaving that out because I'm not intelligent. I don't know how to read.
Now keep in mind, to this menu should have been added the mince pie, which we'll try tomorrow, which I have a feeling is going to be aggressively flavored.
I can smell it right now.
We should have had rolls, which, it's just a roll flavor. And now we had celery, and I did not include olives and salted peanuts, so that would have been also a different flavor. And you didn't taste the mint, which was clearly very strongly flavored, as you can still smell on my breath.
I don't know if the mint would have affected the meal overall for me, just because that's like right at the end.
Okay. Do you think if this were just a regular dinner and not Christmas dinner, you would feel differently?
Yeah, if it was just like random middle of July
Sunday dinner?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like maybe possibly this is being judged not against itself, just like the vegetable plum pudding. The vegetable plum pudding is being tasted with the memory of suet pudding in mind. We're not judging it on itself. This Christmas dinner is being judged in your mind, and maybe my mind too, and our mind, to our Christmas Eve dinner.
Yeah. As I was eating it, I wasn't comparing it to anything other than the individual dishes. But when presented as a Christmas dinner, I'm just meh.
Okay. I think overall, I loved the citrus fruit salad, fruit cup starter.
That was really good.
And I really liked the chili with that. I think you would have, if I would have added more chili powder, or I would have extra chilied yours up, you might have liked that even more. But I think that was a very flavorful, great starting point. That turkey, oh baby, yes. That was great. I think overall it was a pretty good menu. I find and I guess we are assuming that some of these are individualized. So individual cups of peas and carrots. We're going to do individual mince pies, the individual Christmas cakes, individual mince. I think that idea is kind of cute, and it makes it extra convenient to pack this up and bring it to neighbors.
Yes.
And probably if somebody was going off to work the next few days or going out into the fields, some of these this would be real convenient to throw in a lunch bucket, and it's pretty sturdy. Yeah, I think overall I was slightly impressed, particularly thinking that this was 1924 and they don't have the same options that we do now. They don't have the same access to things as we do now. I think this is maybe like a 7 for me. It's not a 10 yet, but it's definitely maybe keeping in mind I'm waiting for the mince pie, and I'm imagining some of the other things that we didn't have here. Not a 10, but yeah, I think a solid 7 for me.
I think in the context of Random Sunday in July, and then also adding in the 1920s aspect,
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it a 6.
Okay.
6.5.
Mm-hmm.
In the context of modern Christmas, 5.
Okay. I liked the commitment to color, the red and green.
Yes.
I can definitely appreciate that.
It was very bright.
Yes. Nutrition-wise, this is going to be another one that's similar to what I had to say about our Thanksgiving meal with the goose. This is a meal that you make memories around. This is a meal that the nutrition, unless you have a medical need for some different type of food, or one of these foods or several of these foods could be harmful to you, the nutrition for this doesn't matter. It's Christmas, you're making memories. This is food that nourishes your soul more than your body, although it is nourishing your body. There's a lot that's really good nutrition-wise about this meal. There's some things that are going to leave you wanting, but those things don't matter in the context of bonding with the people that you love or the people that you tolerate. Okay, cost for this menu. I stopped calculating after a while because there was so much here. If we would not have halved the suet pie recipe, yeah, somewhere between $200 and $300. Next week is a New Year's meal, and we're going to see some kind of similar things repeated, and there'll be some sort of different things. So if you'd like to see what the first meal of 2024 and meal number 1 of the 52 Sunday Dinners Projects has in mind, join us next week. See you later. All right, this is very wet still, and we cooked it actually even 28 minutes over the discussed time. Should we cook it down again or strain it a little bit? Is this right? Is this how mince pie filling should be? Help us out here. Okay, here's what we've determined. There are 6 slots here. We're going to do 2 regular open-faced. We're going to do 2 strained open-face. We're going to do 1 strained with a top crust. We're going to do 1 regular with a top crust. We're going to see what turns out best. We'll try all the methods. Let's see what happens. Freeze this.
I'm sure you can.
Can you freeze the filling of mince pie? We're going to do it, but let us know if you've ever done it, because there's enough filling halved here for like 142 individual pies. You might notice all we have right now to try are the mince pies. The Parker House rolls, it turns out the stash of yeast I thought I had, I didn't have. Somehow we've lost all the yeast, and the packets of yeast in my pantry were from 2017 and 2020, and they were like slightly dead. So slightly, completely dead. So we decided we will add the Parker House rolls to next week's menu so that you can see how those turned out and how we've improved in our baking skills for that. Taking your advice into consideration, we'll see what happens. And then the cranberry mold, we attempted to pull it out of the fridge and noticed immediately it was still just as wiggly and jiggly. The chilling overnight did not help it any in the texture realm. Now, the recipe says to add gelatin if it needs to firm up. And I assume you would know that if you were used to it beforehand, you would just know pre-chill that it wasn't hard enough or dense enough, and you would know to add that gelatin prior to pouring it in the mold, because you can't just like sprinkle it over top of the mold and say, okay, well, you're not set. Let's sprinkle some gelatin in here and you'll be fine now. So I guess that's kind of an interesting one. You just would have to know beforehand. But we do have the mince pies ready. Are we splitting it?
Yeah.
Oh, we got two.
We have so many of these.
Okay. Oop. We'll let everyone see what it looks like untopped. Now, Tori did bring up a good point about the topping these. You said yesterday.
I par-baked the crusts because first off, the filling was extremely wet. So I didn't want it like affecting the crust when it soaked in. And also time, because as you noticed last night, we didn't do that. Then we decided to add the crusts afterward, the top crusts afterward, which is not how you're supposed to do it. If you're adding top crusts, you should not be par-baking, which is why this happened. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
You broke that pie. There you can get an idea of a cross view, I suppose. But I'm not even going to cut this. I'm just eating with my hand.
Well,
it smells pretty good, actually. It smells like apples and cinnamon. I'm not smelling the beef, but let's... Yeah, definitely I'm getting apple... Like, it smells like apple pie. It's mincemeat pie, so...
I also notice now that it's set overnight, the juicy ones aren't as bad as I thought they would be.
Okay. I think we asked that. We were kind of, as we were looking at it, questioning, will it, some of that, like, gel up and evaporate out as it's baked. So let's try it.
The citrus, I think, has turned a little sour from cooking for so long.
Okay.
Like the rinds in the candied oranges. Like
Bitter or sour?
Bitter, that's what I meant. Bitter.
Okay.
Like that, the oils have leached out. So like that bite was, it was sweet but bitter.
Okay.
Not bad, just wasn't expecting it.
Okay. I think this is my first time remembering trying mincemeat. I know we used to have it at Christmas dinner when we were younger. There was always mincemeat. And I don't know if I ever tried it. And if I did, I think it was today's American mincemeat, and there's no meat in it.
Yeah, I remember it being all fruit.
All spiced fruit. The mincemeat, for somebody who's not used to it, for this being my first time in memory, and let's say this is my first exposure or memorable exposure to it, it's different. It's not bad. It's not good. I think right now I'm trying to reconcile all the different flavors in there.
There's a lot of flavors.
Yes. And I can definitely taste, mostly what I taste is that spiced sweet sauce.
Yes.
But I'm also tasting, I had bits of the beef in there.
I don't think I got any beef.
Okay. I'm tasting savory beef along with the spices, and it almost reminds me of a barbecue that was a little over sauced and somebody went a little too sweet with, like really, really, really sweet, saucy barbecue. I'm going to say if I grew up eating this, I bet I would absolutely love it.
Yeah.
If this was something that I had already acquired a taste for, I bet this would be fabulous. Right now, my first time, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think the flavors are just so complex and competing that it's going to take a little while to get used to.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot going on in this.
I think it's a whole chunk of suet. Maybe.
not counting all of the individual spices, there were 14 individual ingredients that went into this. If you add the spices in, I think it would have been like 18 or 19.
Okay. Ooh, I just got the orange peel in there, and I really like that in there.
I like it. I just wasn't expecting that hit of bitterness.
Okay.
And then my second bite of it, I was expecting it, so it was a lot better.
With every bite I'm taking, I like it more and more. Let's try one that we strained. I'll show you what it less juicy looks like. I wonder if like the suet maybe should have been chopped a little more fine than what it is.
I'm not sure because it did cook for like 2 hours, so it all melted down and mixed in.
No, it didn't. You would think that it would have, but when I was stirring it and looking at it, you could tell which parts were suet because it was almost translucent a little bit. You could see the individual chunks of suet in there, and I can see like right there, that has to be suet. Right there, I assume that is suet there. Not that, I mean, there's so many different things in here, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell.
Yeah.
Smells exactly the same. It doesn't smell any less wet. I don't know.
This isn't Great British Bake Off.
I hope not. We would lose. I don't think it tastes any different.
Yeah, no.
Did you get any of the beef in there?
I did, yeah.
What are your thoughts with the beef?
It doesn't taste beefy.
Shut up. Okay.
No, it just... like, the texture is definitely beef, but, like, all that spice is soaked into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it tastes more sweet than savory.
Yeah. With each subsequent bite, I enjoy it more. So I have a feeling if I had more than, like, 5 exposures to these would be my new favorite. If we had a more superior crust to mix in with this filling, I think it would be really great.
Yes.
But yeah, already I've changed my opinion to before I said I don't like it, I don't dislike it. Well, now that I've finished the pie and I've had like 4 or 5 or 7 bites, now I really like it.
Yep. It is really, really good. Yeah. I think your mouth just needs to get used to the overwhelming party.
Yes. There's an overwhelming party in my mouth. Anyhow, if you're on the fence about mincemeat and you try one bite and you think, ooh, I don't know about this, just keep going. Keep trying it. If you have to do like 6 pies in one sitting, go ahead. Eventually you're gonna like it. Try it out. Let us know what you think. If you are someone who has a lot of experience with this and you know a way to make this even better, tell us how to improve upon it because I'm really enjoying this with every bite. In the spirit of Christmas and those that you love, I do have a gift for you. It's not wrapped, and your other gifts are wrapped and we'll have them when Nani comes. But I have this little gift for you, so you can go ahead and have it. It's a kitchen magnet.